Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is a special video that I am recording because I've just achieved a milestone within the game. After playing this game for, I think it's what, 3-4 years, I have finally reached a milestone of 100 maxed 5 stars in the game. When I talk about max 5 stars, I mean that I have completed 100 5-star heroes at 480. So basically, maxed even without emblems or limit breaks. I've actually achieved 100 of those 5 stars. So this will be a special video just detailing my roster, detailing my hero roster, my troops, the teams that I normally bring, and what else do I do within the game. It's just a different video altogether than what I've usually record in the past. So I have decided, that I'll be a little bit cheap to play instead of spending, for every portal. Ever since the double limit breaks came out, the alpha eaters are coming out, I've decided not to spend as much as I've always done. So that means I only have one double limit broken 5-star, as opposed to most of the people out there who are playing around. I think you will see probably about 5 maxed double limit broken 5 stars. I only have one right now, and that was in a different video where I double limit broke my Erlang Shen, who is still my tank, and he's been doing a fantastic job at being a tank. I have no regrets right now, although I did agonize for, I think it was a week or two, about double limit breaking him, but no regrets so far. And that is my highest power, if you talk about hero power, in terms of hero power. So he is my highest right now. I've loved him ever since I got him on a second free pool. So really awesome hero. I only have so far one season 1 double costume maxed in Domitia here. I am currently working on Liana as well. I'm working on the second copy while waiting for tonics. I have her at 370. So yeah, that's basically it. The rest of this are basically my roster of heroes. You can see Mewini, D'Artagnan. D'Artagnan was done on a whim because I kind of wanted to make a team surrounding him. Ended up being a failed project, and I was quite disappointed. But I think so far I can kind of use him in certain niche places, but doesn't really have a home in one of my war teams for the time being. Amethyst, Serendite, these are my core ninjas. It's pretty happy to get Amethyst and Serendite when the new Ninja Portal came out. Queen Guowang, Photonus was actually my 100th 5-star that I maxed. Pretty happy. I'm gonna use him in Rush. It's actually I actually maxed him out of frustration because I couldn't get Sneferu, the new 5-star season 5 Sphinx. But I think I'll find a way to use Photonus. Amos, I was pretty happy to get. Adelinda, Hawthorne, basically the Jungle Hunter family. Capri, I found success using him. Pretty decent. Jakun, I got off Monster Hunter. I know it was the Covenant summons, I think, not during the Super Elemental summons. Khonshu, you guys have seen my very fast purple team. Khonshu is one of the main stars. I still have another 2 more Khonshus that I have unleveled. I mean, so maybe in the future, who knows? Double El Nadaha, one of my core green strike teams. Khufu was pretty happy to get to kind of replace Guardian Falcon since I don't have Costume Arjana yet. Narcissa and Riz are my 2 5-star bards. I typically use them a lot on offense. Narcissa is kind of a mainstay in defense because Narcissa and Erlang combos pretty well. Sun Quan, Lubu and Liu Bei here. These are basically the trio for War of the Three Kingdoms. Really love them in a team. Hasn't been doing well so far because of how fast defenses are these days. So I've put them on a back burner for the time being, but really fun team to play with once in a while. Costume Gefyon, kind of happy. I remember going deep for Gefyon when she was first released. Didn't get her. The costume came out. Didn't get her. And then when she was not featured, I did a random pull and finally got her. It's pretty happy. And right now I'm have another 2 more Gefyons in the back burner. If the minion meta comes back, I'll be pretty prepared with it. Double Hohenwurfs, was pretty happy when Hohenwurf got released. I pulled 2 straight away. I was pretty happy with it. Used him to good effect. Still use them for very fast wars. Costume Finley, I really liked the regular Finley. Was pretty happy when I got the Costume Finley, and I do use him every now and then for attack boost wars, even for certain challenge events, and as well for certain teams where buffs on the opposing side become a little more prominent. Costume Black Knight, Krampus, these are basically the taunts. I only have 1 Pengi as opposed to I think some of the top tier players who probably have like 4 to 8 different Pengis. I only have 1 so far. Interestingly enough, I did not get Pengi in the Santa seasonal summons. I actually got Pengi from a free pool. The first ever Covenant summon pool was Pengi. My first ever Covenant summon pool was Pengi, and then I pulled Hawthorne right after that, so I was quite happy with it as well. Then you get some other ninjas: Topaz, Ruby, Ludwig. I'm pretty happy with Ludwig. Cornell, Milena, which I got from Soul Exchange. Octros and Znolford. This Octros, Znolford, Morel are basically the season 4 Gone with the Wind kind of heroes, but I still use them every now and then to basically fit my teams, my war teams. Bobo, Grace, Faline, Asterius, Cobalt. I think I have maxed every single ninja that I've got. The only one that I have not maxed so far, I think it's I have the other blue one. I think it was don't remember the name right off the top of my head, and a duplicate Topaz, which I'm pushing to 370 first, and then deciding what I'll do with her after that. Anubis, I love my Anubis. I think I was one of the first few ones who used it for war. Pretty happy with the results, although him being average speed kind of makes it a detriment against fast defenses. Costume Leonidas, I do not have the second Costume Leonidas. Was pretty bummed out when I couldn't pull for him. But I don't really see it as a missed opportunity. I'm pretty sure there will be chances in the future. I have one Ulfric that I've limit broken, and I have another one that it's not. Didn't see the need to limit break both of them. And I was pretty happy because right now the Ulfric meta is kind of shifting away from the very fast war defenses. So I was kind of happy that I didn't commit to limit breaking both. Lao Hu, I only maxed 1 Lao Hu. I have a second one which is still sitting at 1-1. Did not really want to, duplicate a sniper, although she has been really good in the now forgotten Miriam and Waterpipe meta. Athena, one of my first few 2017 Hero of the Month Tavern of Legends pool. I was pretty happy when I got her. Use her right now in my Red Titan team. Also have the costume. I used to use her in war, but then her damage was a little bit low, so kind of got outshined by Adelinda, which was dealing a bit more damage. My pride and glory, Salmon Loki. Stay tuned, there will be another Salmon Loki war, I think. And maybe this time we'll do better, who knows, but I still use Salmon Loki once in a while to be entertaining in war hits. I don't want my war hits to be completely dry, so Salmon Loki does show up every once in a while. Gortooth has been one of my favorite when he came out. Use him to good effect as well. Then I have the staple, Mother North. Zenda was one of the recent pulls I made. Kind of liked him, although in regular wars is kind of slow as well. Costume Freya was a very late pickup. I think I pulled her like, I think at least 8 or 9 portals before, after she was released. Still use her once in a while, not so frequent these days. Lady of the Lake, I was pretty happy to get her costume because that made the regular able to cast a special skill in 9 tiles with a level 30 magic troop. So pretty happy with that. This is my second Krampus. I did not limit break him yet. Inari was kind of lacking yellows at a certain point, and I decided to use Inari because of her high tile damage as well as the utility she gives. Evelyn, core striker in one of the green teams that I have. Motega, one of my favorite magic heroes. This is the only magic 5-star hero that I have apart from before I had Milena from the Soul Exchange. I had Crystal Ball, but I didn't level him, didn't really liked him that much. Motega, I originally was pretty bummed out when I only got Motega. But then started using him for some good use and started enjoying him a lot. Zakina used for Titans and in some cases against Ludwig, double limit broken Ludwigs on defense recently. Sersha was one of my favorite Slayer heroes. It's still my only 5-star Slayer hero that I leveled. I have Caitlyn and Senan. Both of them are still in the back burner. Didn't really feel the need to level any one of them yet. Director Zuri, awesome healer. Phileas Fogg, when he first came out, I think it was Phileas Fogg. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was Fogg and I don't remember another one. But basically, I pulled Fogg, Leidenbrock, and another season 4 hero at the same time, and I was pretty happy with that. Ruffian and Urgib, I'm waiting for Ethers to kind of limit break her. She's been really good in one of my ninja teams. Really, really awesome. Kara, really good hero of the month. I have one of her. I actually pulled 2 during the month when she was featured, and then I mistakenly fed one of the spare ones, and I was regretting it. But considering how the meta has shifted to the point where you don't really use Taunt that much, I was pretty happy that I didn't really level the second one because I have other stronger taunts than her, based on the colors that I was playing on. So Onyx, another ninja. This one I think will be the last ninja that I leveled from based on the power rankings. My triple costume Ariel, I've loved costume Ariel since she came out. Was pretty happy to pull one, got lucky with the second, and then I used one of my fated summons to get the third one. Kirill, this one is not 5 stars, so we can move on a little bit, but basically because of the double costumes, they have about the same power as 5 stars, but really, really good as well. I think some of you have seen my videos, know that I use Erlang Shen together with double costume Kirill in one of my offense teams. Really good as well. Double costume Gormak, was pretty happy to get him when he first came out. Same as Caitman. Santa Claus, I kind of hitched a little bit. I wanted to use Santa Claus because I don't have Ilmarinen from the Kalevala family. Still did well, but then now with the double limit broken taunts on defenses in very fast wars, I kind of stopped using Santa Claus for the time being. Alfrag as the second copy, not limit broken. I am considering benching her soon. Skadi, it's like a long forgotten minion killer. I'm gonna strip her pretty soon as I need more monk emblems in the future. Devana was one of those picks where I thought I needed a little bit more in terms of dispellers. She's pretty good, but I think there are better yellows that you can use. The fact that she's average speed, I think I prefer using fast speed heroes for the time being. So Maybe she'll show up in one of the very fast war offense teams that I use. Frigg is one of the old, staples that I still use every now and then. I do use her for very fast wars just because she hits all, and I do not have Mart from season 5. Frost I leveled for Pengi. I have a Pengi strike team with Frost. Guardian Gazelle, I do not have a costume. I was pretty bummed about that, but you know what you can do. You can't pull every hero that's featured, right? I stripped my second Liu Bei for Myoin Ni, lacking some druid emblems, although I am hoping to be able to re-emblem him once I have enough druids. Tarlac was a happy pickup from the Fated Summons. That was my first ever pick from the Fated Summons. I've decided to go with Tarlac since I don't have a attack manipulator. Not a fan of the costume, so I am using the regular with no complaints at all. Hell was basically one of the ones where I got when she was featured in Tavern of Legends. I was pretty happy about her. I still use her in very fast wars as a mana controller. Captain Kestrel, I'm one of those guys who's hedging for it. When will they ever buff Captain Kestrel? And then I'll, use him a bit more. Elizabeth, I think right now the costume is released. I didn't get the costume, so pretty bummed about that. But I don't even use her now. Cadillac, I've stripped Cadillac for the time being. She's also a druid. On the flip side, decided not to use her because of how my utilities are formed in my offense teams. But who knows, in the future I might re-emblem her, especially since she has the double costume. So maybe, who knows, in the future I'll do it. Thorn I was using before this when I was lacking blue 5 stars. I needed someone to basically pair with Cobalt, so Thorn was one of those that I used. It was also used in some cases in the early stages of my challenge event career. So now he just sits in the back burner. Hopefully his second costume might be good. Who knows? Then you have Bogart. This one I hedged on it a little bit because I thought him as a pretty high damage percentage but pretty low attack stat. Was hoping that he'll do better. Maybe I'll double limit break him in the future, who knows. But let's see. I have 2 waddles maxed. I have another 2 more that are unleveled. My aim is to get all 4, and then we have a little duckling farm that I can basically showcase. Pretty interesting. Annabelle, Asmia, Xiaohudun, these are basically my 4 stars. Max double Kitty when I got her, basically as a good counter to Alfrag. Pretty happy with those. France, I have 4 maxed France, 1 limit broken, 1 maxed with plus 20 without limit broken, without limit breaks, and 2 other spare France which I use for Mythic Titan. I have 2 Brigades maxed. Don't have the second costume yet, but I think I still prefer the original costume. Sorry, not the regular side, which gives a lot of health boosts. But who knows? I think the double costume is way better because it boosts health, gives a defense buff, and also cleanses. So maybe I'll switch to that as well. Farron was when people were running Farron tanks for a brief period of time. I still have him. I might actually strip him. He's completely useless right now. Grim for challenge events. Sergei, I have a new purple team that I'm using Sergei with, so hopefully that actually works as well. Kalo, Marcel, Cillian, DeAndre, Guardian Jackal. Lysiu, do not have the second costume for Lysiu yet. Hoping for her because the second costume is bonkers. It's like a cheap version of Mickey, and who doesn't like silencing tree for a certain amount of turns? That's really good. Wilbur for Titans and for challenge events. Zenobia was pretty happy with this pickup, although I do not have enough cleric emblems to kind of give her some emblems. I rather save my cleric emblems for healers. So and I only use Zenobia for Titans, and I'm not really full on committed to going for super high scores, because when you're in a decent alliance, you don't really need to go for high scores. The Titan will naturally die once everyone has hit a Titan in your team. Garjamal was previously using her with Phileas Fogg as a 1-2 strike team. Decided not to rely too much on snipers. Lepiota, I was going to re-emblem her if I got her costume. Didn't manage to get a costume. Pretty sad about it, but yeah, I still use her once in a while for very fast wars. Captain of Diamonds was a hedge against the minion meta. At that time I didn't have Geffion yet, but now he pretty much sits in the back burner. Costume Vivica, maybe I'll emblem her for very fast wars, who knows. Guardian Falcon, challenge events mostly. Alexandrine, Tyr, Heimdall, Lady Loki, these are all basically 5-star heroes that I used early on, and then I kind of have to phase them out for better iterations of 5 stars that came out. They don't really fit now in my teams that I use, but still, there are hopes for them. Tyr has a costume that's really, really good. If you guys haven't seen the costume for Tyr, I think that's what would make Tyr somewhere around the B tier, maybe not so tier 1, but maybe tier 1.5, tier 2 kind of red striker. Lady Loki was fun, and then she wasn't too fun after all these ailment blockers are around, so pretty hard to deal with, to use her in wars properly. Jabberwock was pretty happy when I got him. Queen of Hearts as well, same family. Was doing some shenanigans with it last time, and didn't really see the need to continue. Then I have some Glendar, Bayang, Ursina. I was gonna give her emblems back if I got a costume. Jod, Melosi is really fun last time when I used him. Really, really fun character. Mickey, I was so happy when I got Mickey. I think it was 2 or 3 months ago. Really, really stoked to finally get Mickey to kind of power out my Red Titan teams. Also, for very fast wars, Mickey is one of the best. Not so much against the Cupid family, the Seasonal Love family, but still one of the strong ones that you can use pretty much on everywhere else. Sapphire, these are 4-star ninjas. I have a Gregorian that I use for Mythic Titan, and then finally the lowest of the 5 stars, a single no costume Marjana, who might get, if I'm lucky enough to pull her second costume when it's featured soon, maybe she'll get some love. I am running out of Red Eaters right now, so who knows? Yeah, maybe. Felton I just leveled because I wanna try him for very fast wars. I've seen some videos on how Felton works, and I want to see if I'm able to replicate that. Iset. So these are basically, we're moving on to like some of the 370 heroes that I have yet to give Ascension materials because I'm completely lacking of them. I don't know how some of these players with rosters more than me can also have Ascension materials that are more than what I have. Definitely, it's a gacha game after all, so they might be a little bit. They maybe have a better way to kind of get 4-star Ascension materials than how I'm doing it. Maybe that's the case. But Iset was one of the ones where I considered leveling her just because I wanted to try a record Titan hit on Purple Titans. But I've not yet committed, not yet pulled the trigger. As you can see, I do have enough darts for her as well. So that's basically it, right? So I have Cleaver at 370, a second Topaz, a second Ludwig. Rusula, let's not talk about her. Liana, 370, just waiting for tonics. Just max Lucy. And then I found out I don't have enough Aeters. So kind of waiting for 2 more Aeters, and then I can start doing a test video on her. I don't think, personally, I think she might not be used so much as a similar to Hippo. I think she's really, really strong mana controller because of her first charge. I'll do a test video on that once I get the Aethers and once I get some emblems, because I only have 210 right now. So I need another 295 to get her online. And then some other 370s, Yangmai, Baldur, Bera, Norns, Ratatosker, Guinevere. So I didn't max Guinevere because I don't have wizard emblems. Unfortunately, her regular side requires wizard emblems, and I don't have wizard emblems for the time being. So yeah, gonna have to wait a while for that. Guardian Chameleon, using for Mythic Titans. I do have a second one that I'm currently leveling as well. Poseidon, King Arthur, a second Marjana just in case I get the costume. And then basically these are all my 3 stars as well. But I think don't really have to go too much into detail with all of this. These are basically the 3 stars that I use for tournaments. If you've seen my videos, you know I really love my triple Zarola. Although sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. It all depends on the tiles. If I'm able to maybe get, in the future, if there are mana troops for 3-star tournaments, Zarola gets a little bit better. But who knows, right? So, so these are basically it. So let's just look at, just basically to show you what I'm actually working on right now. I have 2 slots where I kind of use for leveling. So these are basically 4 stars that I level. If and when a new 3-star comes out and I like it, I will swap with one of these to kind of work on those 3-star heroes as well. With 5 stars, these are what I'm currently working on. I just pulled Bastet this morning, pretty happy with it. Well, it's not a Sneferu, but it's still something that will improve my my current, war teams in regular wars. Caitlyn is just probably just bring her to 370 and maybe give her a try. Who knows? Maybe it'll work. Second Liana, Lord Loki. As I mentioned before, if you have Lord Loki and you're not using him, something's wrong with your roster, because he's really, really good, especially in very fast wars. Especially if you can fit him in some kind of team that you can use, then that's really good. Costume Guardian Kong, I'm just leveling a red dispeller just in case I need it. So that's basically my roster. And I think what I'll do, let's look at the troops that I have. So I'm pretty happy with where my troops are right now. So I think it's pretty hard to look at it here, but basically what I can do is I can probably tap on them a little bit just to show you what I'm working on. So I have, the most I have right now is in the yellow side. I have 5 maxed level 30 troops. They're mana related, so I emphasize a lot on mana troops because I like my heroes to be able to charge as fast as they can. So these are basically it. I have 2 level 30 yellow magic troops here and 3 level 30 mana troops, which is the most, I think, compared to the other colors. I have 2 level 30 wizard troops, purple wizard troops. I was happy to kind of max 2 of them so that I can use in certain teams. And then I also have 2 level 30 mana, purple mana troops as well. Only one of the other colors, so I only have one blue, one green, one red magic troop so far. I am working on a second copy of each of those colors right now. But at the same time, like for green, I have 3 level 30 mana troops. I have 2 blue level 30 mana troops and 2 red level 30 mana troops. In the future, once I have completed my mana troops leveling, I will start working on ninja troops. This level 14 crit troop was when I didn't pull mana troops for a while. I kind of just worked on it for fun, and then I started getting lucky with the pulls, and now I've shifted to work on a third level 30 purple magic troop. I believe that I have some functions in order to use them, so who knows. Not really a fan of Cyclops troops because, as you saw from my roster, I don't really have the newer strike teams. I don't have Aramis, I don't have Jove, I don't have Anne, I don't have Ojima. So those are basically the I would say those are basically the strike heroes that you can use Cyclops troops on, because they have so much power that it doesn't matter that the Cyclops troops sacrifice a lot of power in to basically give you Pierce. So yeah, I emphasize a lot on working on magic and mana troops rather than Cyclops troops. I do have a set of ninja troops. I have 4 of each color, which I will work on for Titans and for challenge events. The only one that's lacking is blue, so I only have 3 blue ninja troops. I'm hoping to get 1 more at least to kind of work on. The rest I have 4, so I have 4 green ones, 4 red ones, and then we move on to level 3 mana, the 3-star mana troops. Only 2 I think, yeah, 2 level purple ones, only 1 level yellow. Working on the blue ones because of certain challenge events. Green, I only have 1 so far. Yeah, I'm pretty slacking on the 3-star troops, I must say. So even this one, only for red, I only have 1. So that's why I don't really compete much in the epic challenge events, because I just don't have the troops to be able to compete as much as I can. The 2-star troops for 3-star tournaments and for rare challenge events. Purple, I have 1 level 8, 1 level 6, yet to max them. I will try to max 5 of them as we move on, but it's taking a lot of feeders as well. I basically burned my feeders when I was trying to get the level 30 maxed. It was a lot of food, let me tell you. So 2 level 8 yellow 2-star troops as well. Blue, I have 5, 10 level 10 2-star troops. Perfectly fine for challenge events as well, but I don't compete too hard for rare as well. I probably don't understand the mechanics that is happening in order for you to hit the top 10 rankings in challenge events. Not for the time being. Maybe in the future, who knows. And then for green as well, I have 5 level 1s, 3 of them which are level 10. Red, I have 1 max 1 just because I use Buster for some of the challenge events. So that's basically the troops. I do farm on a regular basis. Not so much like how, if you've heard of Mr. Jekyll and Hyde, who owns the YouTube channel Empires and Puzzles Books. That guy is an auto farm on the next level. I do not auto farm as much as him. So there you go, all these luxury offers and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't really auto farm that much. I do farm as and when I want, but that's about it. So I'll just go through some of the teams. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. So yeah, maybe you know what, we'll use this. Hold on, we'll use this inspect team. So basically for war attack teams, I do have certain stable ones that I use. The supports, you have seen my roster. My supports are usually in blue that I use a lot. So the fact that I have 2 Krampuses and 3 aerials, so that's where I get a lot of my stability in terms of supports. I like them just because of my mana troops, the fact that I have a level 30 magic troop that allows one of them, depending on situations, one of them to be able to fire in 8 tiles instead of 9. Certain times you are able to kind of engineer that instead of getting 3 regular matches, which is fine. Then there are also some others that I use in terms of support. Let's see, so something like Riz I use for support. Milena, Snowford is a good healer. Um, yeah, and even sometimes I pair Lady of the Lake. So let me just give you an idea. So in recent times in the current meta, what we are facing, I am currently in a top, I would say, 20 to top 20, top 30 range where we often face those level at alliances of that level, and typically you'll see a lot of yellow and purple tanks. So basically I do have some core teams that I use, and then some, just to increase variety, I kind of change. So one of the main ones that I have that I rarely change against, and this can be done against yellow tanks, depending on what yellow tanks, I think it works for almost all the yellow tanks and some purple tanks, is I kind of use my very fast purple team. Why I say this is very fast, some of you might ask why. I mean, sure, they're very fast, but why is it very fast exactly? um, Currently in this day and age, getting to two tiles, to two matches, or sometimes trying to get to seven tiles is usually what ends the game. And this team, so this is typically the mana troop coordination that I use. This team can go off in either two purple matches or two yellow matches, because I can use Jakun to kind of provide. If I'm going against a purple tank, Jakun gives them a little bit of a blind, so they kind of miss their hit sometimes. I do use this back in the blue meta as well, because Jakun gives defense down to blue. But the main heroes here are basically Gortooth and Khonshu. The fact that I'm able to rinse and repeat Khonshu after every normal purple match is what makes this team really fun to use. Most of the time when I use this team, the match pretty much ends pretty quickly if I can get those two purple matches. So it's not guaranteed to function all the time. In fact, even in my latest war video, I think I lost with this team, just because I couldn't get the two purple matches in time. But essentially, I really love this team because in the current situation where you go against, for example, Ludwig at the flank, I have Onyx here with the level 30 magic troop with Riz, giving him an additional mana bonus. He is able to fire in 4 tiles, so I like it. If I can get a purple dragon, I can immediately dispel Ludwig's taunt, so that's really good. Gortooth controls, it's a mana controller as well as a sniper that kind of gives defense down, which is really good to combine with Khonshu. So yeah, this is one of those teams that I use. Similar to this team, so this is my only 6-tile team, I think, if I'm not mistaken. The other one is a pseudo 6-tile team that I kind of cobbled together after experimenting for a while in raids. Let's just show, where is it? So it's basically using a trio of ninjas, and it's also using the fact that Ruffian gets to fire in 6 tiles. If I can get Myoin to fire and give that mana boost to Ruffian as well. So Myoin, because she is a druid, she is able to charge in 4 green with a level 30 magic troop. So depending on situations, I do try to hit either the 4 green match first before I make the red matches, which allows Ruffian to go off in 6 red tiles, and then I'm able to kind of control the flow of the game using Ruby, using Serendite as a burn damage over time effect, which is really good as well. I think his stats are really good. And then I use Leidenbrock to kind of cleanse. The fact that she's able to go off in 9 yellow even faster with Mewin's buff makes her a really good one, as well as the synergy that works together with Leidenbrock and Ruffian. Every time Leidenbrock gives that heal over time, Ruffian gains that much, 5% mana every time his health is recovered, and it doesn't stop at Um, it doesn't stop at just once per turn. It keeps going, so that really helps. So yeah, this is one of my strike teams as well. The fact that I use this, I do find a lot of success using this in raids. In wars, it's so far 50-50. Not gonna lie, there are times where if you're not bringing a favorable color against the tank, like for example going against Aramis, there may be situations where I can't get two red tiles, two red matches or two green matches, and then the team falls apart. It has a high amount of resiliency, but when you're going against Aramis, sometimes Serendite just gets shuts down. In which case, sometimes, depending on the team, like let's say for example, if I'm going against a team that maybe has a certain amount of minions or a certain amount of uh, heroes that I need to control, I do run Hohenwerf or Geffion or D'Artagnan. So notice how all these heroes are basically fast speed, and I want to use them to kind of take advantage of the fact that I have maxed mana troops to kind of enable them to go off in 7 tiles, which is much more, I would say, much more easier to kind of form compared to having to find 8 tiles or 3 regular matches in some cases. So that's 2 teams, and then I have a very reliable green team that I use. It hardly fails, although depending on how the situation is, sometimes it's really difficult to cobble up that really hard to cobble up that 7 green, and that's when the team starts to fall apart. But I think with the Krampus and Ariel as a support, it kind of gives you that time to kind of get those greens up and running. This one I typically use if you're going against, tanks that kind of give buffs. Definitely not against Aramis for sure, because Aramis, the buff, the ailment block is undispellable. But against even heroes like Hawthorne, Ferdinand, even Ludwig at the center, this one is pretty good as well at dealing with those kind of defenses. So yeah, pretty similar team. Another pretty similar team that I have in green is using, because I have a second El Nadaha, so I can use a second copy of El Nadaha here. And this team, instead of using Ariel, typically I use it together with Milena, and if I don't need to use Riz, sometimes I use Ariel here. I use Ariel, either that or I use another offensive hero like Topaz. Where's Topaz? Where is my Topaz? Yep. So the fact that Topaz is able to fire in 4 tiles gives mana so that El Nadaha can fire first, and Milena is typically able to give that 10% mana boost to basically any one of these heroes. Grace against Ludwig is really good because even with a level 30 mana troop only, you don't need to use a level 30 magic troop on her. She'll be able to fire at very fast speed, so she kind of negates Ludwig the next time he tries to cast his taunt, which is really good as well. So there's a lot of synergy going on here. If I'm using, Frigg and Milena gets up to the second charge, Frigg deals defense down to all, and then I can use Milena to kind of pick up the to kind of hit using the second charge. So that's one of my war teams as well. And then I have some yellow war teams. One of my favorites so far that I'm using is this Erlang Shen, Falin Lauhu, together with one Ariel and the double costume Kirill. So I typically just stick with using 3 level 30 mana troops here. Erlang Shen hits really hard. If you're able to replenish that yellow tiles, the second hit will most likely kill 3. Falin as well is really good in terms of controlling the speed of the flanks, whichever side of the flanks that you want to control. And Lao Hu kind of gets rid of, for example, if there's a Ludwig in the mix, or if you deal enough yellow tiles into the tank. More often than not, I use this against Aramis. The fact that if you hit, like, let's say 2 or 3 yellow tiles into Aramis, Lao Hu can kind of clean up against Aramis. Sometimes I switch out Falin in case I'm dealing with Ludwig as a tank. I kind of switch out Falin for Zakina. The fact that Zakina and Lao Hu can kind of 7-tile kill Ludwig and give Erlang the chance to kind of hit either side of the flanks is really good as well. So this is one of the examples of teams that I use against either Aramis, Ludwig, even at some times against double costume Oberkan as well, just because Erlang deals that much of damage and that much of attack cripples to the center tree when I'm going against double costume Oberkan. So that's basically one of the yellow teams that I use. The other yellow team that I use is a bit more unstable. I typically use Leonidas, Queen, and some form. It's either I use Kullervo here, or I use Inari to kind of make sure they hit all, or I use Devana. But after discussing a little bit, I think there is a potential possibility to kind of use Guardian Gazelle here. I think that is something that I have not tested, but I'm pretty happy to try and test it out in the upcoming, once the very fast wars are over. I can kind of try using Guardian Gazelle. Am I blind? Did I not see my Guardian Gazelle? Where's my Guardian Gazelle? Am I blind? I am blind, huh? Yeah, but anyways, I am... Wait, hold on. Where's my Guardian Gazelle? Am I blind? Yep. So Guardian Gazelle, maybe something like this. In terms of this, I will give the... So this one will be sort of like an 8-tile team that I'm going to experiment next in the Undead Horde War rotation. Because of Zabok, I will give emblems to him. Because of Zabok, Guardian Gazelle, Leonidas, and Queen, with those mana troops that are placed on them, they will be able to fire in 8 tiles instead of the usual 9. So shaving 1 tile off might be what makes this team slightly better. Who knows? I'm always game to try this, and hopefully it works out. The fact that you can cast Queen and then you use Gazelle, so you remove her vengeance and deals instantly 525 damage to all the enemy. So that's pretty good as well. Will be worth a try. So then we move on to I do have a couple of purple teams that I use. One of my favorite purple teams to use against, say for example, against Hawthorne. Against Hawthorne is quite useful against let's see, so sometimes even against other yellow tanks that I deal with, I like using Amethyst. The combo of Amethyst, Narcissa, and Sergei is really, really strong. Where is Sergei? Did I pass him? Oh, Sergei is in my Titan team. And as well as using, you have a little bit of healing. You need a little bit of healing to go with this, so sometimes I use an aerial here. The ones that I use in raid, typically I just use Mewini and Serendite. I am trying to level a second Serendite, just so that I can form this kind of team. But if in war, I think most likely I will take out Mewin because she's not really needed here. And potentially just use something like a DeAndre, for example, or a Director Zuri, depending on how the situation works out. And if I don't use Serendite here, the other option that I'm able to use for this case is to introduce a controller. So something like Hohenwerth here, even something like Costume Geffion. It's also a It's also one of the examples that I can use here. So yeah, so something similar like this, which I typically use. Sometimes if I feel a little bit frisky, I do use amethyst, hawthorn, and the salmon, salmon Loki, together with something like ruby and serendite. So the ability to kind of combine all these heroes. Oops. Yeah, so it's something like this, right? Yep. So sometimes you want to use Salmon Loki for fun against a yellow heavy team. Salmon Loki can kind of deal a lot of damage to them as well. So if you've noticed in some of my war stream videos, I tend to use Salmon Loki as well. So that's basically my war teams. I don't really have others that I typically use. I guess I can show something like this is typically the Lubu team that I use. I really, really love this team because of the synergy it has. The fact that in 3 purple matches, you are able to fire Lubu just because you can fire Freya and Snowford. The fact that the family gives him 6% mana every time a minion comes out, that's pretty much enough to pump him up to be able to fire him. And then you have Sun Quan and Liu Bei to kind of keep doing the same thing over and over again. So really fun team. Really liked it. Kind of have to slow down using that because it's as I mentioned before, it's typically very hard to kind of get 3 purple matches. Sometimes the board doesn't cooperate, then it's really difficult to kind of reach that status. So yeah, then it becomes a little bit difficult. The final team that I sometimes use is Anubis, Domitia, and Capri, and then I do something like having Ariel and another healer. So maybe something like a it can be any healer, I think, as long as it's a different color than purple here. So sometimes if I'm not using Zuri, I can use Zuri here. I also can use Kirill, or I think at some point I was using Krampus as well to kind of give the kind of buffer that you need to kind of activate them in 3 purple matches. So the good thing about Anubis here is he's able to kind of disable any buffs that go on to the opposing team. So if they have like a Ludwig, they have like a Hathor, Aramis, Hawthorn, not Ferdinand because Ferdinand cleanses first. They have something like who else? Even Bastet, even Dodge, or Double Costume Overcount as well. The fact that you can use Anubis to target one of the wings, so that only that hero that you target will get all those buffs. So that's what I really love about Anubis. On top of that, he also gives defense down to everybody and gives a poison damage over time that kind of makes him really fun to use. I do use him every once in a while, although in recent times, because of how fast defenses are, it's pretty hard to use just because you need 3 normal matches to kind of get him going. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So yeah, that's basically all the war teams that I currently use. The 3 Kingdom teams, because you have a mixture of teams, then I do have to make adjustments. Very fast war teams, I am currently in a renovation phase just because right now, because of the double limit breaks, I will have to change a lot of my very fast teams. I am currently going under a phase where I'm doing a lot of testing, using the wars as a experiment ground to kind of see how well I can pair up these teams with each other. So that's basically it. I guess one of the things that I can show is my Titan teams as well. So this is my blue Titan team. Using this sometimes if I'm a bit frisky, I had to use tornadoes recently because I only get in one hit. I only have time to go to get in one hit. So typically I'll just use Dragon Banner, this, and then sometimes I'll use not Valkyrie's Bane. I'll use a Harpoon, and then I switch out Marcel. So the Harpoon is giving the defense down, and then I can use Gregorian and Ratatosker to kind of amplify the damage that is hitting on them. So that's basically my Blue Titan team. The other one that I have, so the Green Titan team, so naturally these are the red heroes that I use. Sun Shangxiang and Kufu are basically amplifying defense down. You have Franz for the other form of defense down, and Zenobia to kind of manipulate the tiles. So notice how my Titan teams are very similar in pattern. You have an attack manipulator, 3 different types of defense down, and a tile manipulator. I don't have a tile manipulator for the purple team, so I use Khonshu just because he has a very high attack stat. If I get Karnov, he'll immediately go here. So yeah, this is basically the team. Gortuf gives a very high defense down, similar to Domitia. Sergei's second charge is currently the only purple one that has that. Spoiler alert, there may be another one coming out soon. Yeah, and notice how I use Franz in almost every one of these Titan teams. This is my favorite Titan team to use so far if I'm going against a purple Titan. This is the one that I usually get the highest scores on. If I'm not mistaken, one of my highest hits on a 14 star is 430,000 using this purple team. So you have Leonidas, Zakina that gives defense down, Franz has the other damage amplification debuff. Bertulf, I am considering changing Bertulf for Guardian Gazelle, so we'll have to see which one works better. And then Iset basically as the tile manipulator. And then finally, thank God I got Mickey and King Arthur here, so I can finally make this Red Titan team. As long as it used to be my weakest Titan to go against, just because I don't have King Arthur and Mickey. But now with this, I am talking about 120 to 150,000 damage per hit, so pretty happy with this as well. So that's pretty much it with my roster. Basically, I just did a lot of leveling today, so I don't have that many feeders left. The most that I have right now is 700 feeders. I typically run only up to level 6 Hero Academy. I have not even leveled the rest. Not interested in retraining since it takes too long, and I rather work on my troops as well, because I believe troops are more important than heroes. So I have them working on 24/7. Where do I usually farm on a daily basis? I just farm season 5 10/10, which is the if I'm not mistaken, I just do it just to clear the chest. This is my usual map farming team. It's pretty good on auto farm, although sometimes I might switch out one of these items for mana pots, kind of get Ludwig going first, and then it's pretty much smooth sailing from there. Might need to change this, as we go on to season 5. I have no idea yet. I've been slacking on my season 5 season 5 map clearing. Yeah, look at that. I have not done almost all of it. I have done the rest of it. So when it is Atlantis, I just hardcore use tickets on 27/9 hard. That's what I do every day for that 3 days where Atlantis is around. For season 3, I am working on the avatars. So I have the Elf Watchman and the Enchanted Moose right now, which is the second last province stages. So maybe after that, I will just focus on doing 36/9 hard in the future. Who knows? Season 4, I've done all the avatars. I've cleared all the missions. So I am just constantly farming 36/9 hard. That's what I do. And yeah, that's about it. and I make sure to complete every quest if possible. There's one coming up right now which I need to do, and that's about it. So that was a very long video. Hope you guys are not too bored of it, but basically that shows my whole roster, what I have, what I am working on, and what I'm actually lacking, compared to probably some of your rosters. I don't have Ogima and Jove, Aramis, I don't have Milady, I don't have all those, I don't have like Cupido, all those new heroes I don't really have, because I don't really pull that much these days. But I make do with what I have. I typically go about 4 one shots these days. My war performance have been really bad recently, so I need to find a way to kind of improve it. Hopefully, with some of the heroes that I'm working on, maybe things will get a little bit better in the future. Who knows? Only time will tell. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is a very special one that I do. It includes certain tips and things of how I get along with my roster when I go for war or when I do my raids. And yeah, maybe just as a final one, just see. I am currently at 24,000 raid wins. It's not low compared to others, but not as high as compared to others as well. Highest trophies I've gotten is 3348. I know the current highest one should be about 3005. I don't have any raid flask to kind of commit to it, so that's probably not gonna do it. My highest titan damage was actually on if I'm not mistaken, it was on 5-star, either a 4-star or 5-star. No, it was a 5-star or 6-star. Either a red titan or purple titan. I don't remember which one it was. And yeah, that's it. So hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. GG.